Sunday. Today I want to talk about the three white poisons. I just want to urge everyone to take the time to look up the long-term effects of eating salt, sugar, and flour. If any of us, including myself, are trying to have long-term good health, avoid things like disease, cancers, obesity, bad mood, regulate your mood, you really need to get these things under control. My personal belief is to just eradicate them from your life totally and just eat all natural, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, that sort of thing. That's what I'm pushing more towards, the raw food diet, which is what I've been practicing for quite some time now. It's tough, especially, trying to get your knowledge base up in those areas, with making things creative and whatnot. But I felt outstanding, marvelous, once I started to regulate my diet and get all the processed foods out of my system. It detoxes your system. You feel great. You feel full of energy, full of life. I mean, I can't say enough good things about the raw food diet, honestly. But at the end of the day, we're being tricked into thinking that we need to eat this junk. The sodium intake of the average American, heck, probably the average human, is out of control. A lot of the foods, natural foods that we can consume, have enough sodium in them for a full day's worth for most people. Throwing a bunch of salt on your food, throwing a bunch of sugar, in your coffee or whatever. I mean, and then you have to ask yourself if you even want to drink coffee. From what I've read, tea is better. That's something that you'll have to explore on your own. All I do is like to point people in the right direction. I do not consider myself an expert at anything, but what I am is a person that is willing to put long and tedious hours into studying the things that are going to give me a long life. I have a son to be around for, and I want to see him into his later years. So that's what I put first. I put first me being around to take care of him, to make sure that he grows into the man that he needs to be to live out his life. So if that means not eating junk food, if that means that I can't have pastries and whatnot anymore, then that's just what it means, because that's what's more important to me is a long life. But there's plenty of websites online that talk about those poisons, and I'll repeat them again: sugar, salt, flour. These are the things that you want to keep out of your system. From my own experience, and all I can do is speak from that, is you tend to want to eat these things if you're having them every now and again, because you develop the urge to eat them, or you develop that sweet tooth, or whatever, because your mind and your body are familiar to these foods because they're comfort foods. They're made to serve these purposes. I've read tons and tons of dissertations, papers, and research on the way that these corporations develop these foods so your brain reacts to the way that they taste, to the way that they crunch in your mouth. We're being played. You got to get these things under control. These diseases, obesity rate in this country, a lot of it is because, as I've said before in other videos, these corporations do not care about normal people. I read a paper a couple years ago about the guy that made the president of, I think it was Oscar Mayer. His daughter was saying, "Oh, Dad won't even let us eat Lunchables. There's a Lunchable that's been sitting in the refrigerator for years that he won't even allow the grandkids to touch." You see what I mean? They'll sell this garbage to the public, but then their loved ones, they won't even let them touch it. Then I read over and over again about these billionaires that have their own organic, greenhouses where they grow their own food, or they have like farmers that come and keep their greenhouse up and grow and prepare all their foods in these facilities. You got to use this. You got to think. As I've said before, these grocery stores are full of garbage. You can't eat this stuff. It's not for you. This is coming from someone that's been over 300 pounds. That's far from that, thankfully now, because I, grew out of those bad habits. But you gotta get these kind of things under control. And I'm not even only talking about, from a weight perspective, like I said, disease, arthritis, bad circulatory system, diabetes, all these different things are linked to these foods. Get your mind right. Get out there, research, look at your diet. One diet that I can, if you don't want to do the raw food diet, one diet that I always talk about is the anti-inflammation diet. Maybe that could, point you in the right direction. But as I've said before, I'm not a professional. I'm just a person that has done what I need to do to get my own self in line, and I'm going to share the information that has helped me. Happy Sunday.